TVC News, our top stories. Dar set to host key SADC annual meeting on regional peace. Tanzania revisits Mandela's legacy, African unity insisted.
We spent this day, it was his wish that the way that this day would be spent is by doing something.
Good evening, I am Faithan Gaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TVC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TVC Online. Tanzania is expected to host the 27th Ministerial Committee of the Southern African Development Community Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation from the 21st to the 25th of July 2025 in Dar es Salaam. This annual meeting provides a platform for SADC member states to revisit and deliberate on matters relating to peace and security, political cooperation and democratic processes across the region. The meeting is expected to gather around 300 delegates, including ministers and senior officials responsible for foreign affairs, defense, home affairs, and state security from all 16 SADC member states, taking into consideration that peace, security, and political stability are cornerstones of SADC's mission to foster socio-economic development. President Samia Suluhu Hassan is the current chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation, appointed in August 2024, placing Tanzania at the helm of overseeing regional peace and stability efforts in accordance with the SADC protocol. Tanzania has played a prominent role in advancing democracy and peace in the region, coordinating and presiding over 5 extraordinary organ summits between November 2024 and March 2025, which addressed crucial matters concerning regional peace and security. The South African High Commissioner to Tanzania, Noluthando Mayende Malepe, says Nelson Mandela left behind a powerful legacy rooted in African unity, peace, love, collaboration, and partnership. A legacy that, if embraced by African nations, could help prevent conflicts across the region. She made the remarks during the commemoration of International Nelson Mandela Remembrance Day, whereby the United Nations, in collaboration with the South African High Commission, marked the occasion with a charity event at the National Children's Home in Kurasini, commending Tanzania for its continued care and support for children, calling them a treasure for both the present and future of Africa.
Maintain the private sector and NGOs are doing a great job in looking after the most important resource, children, because they are the future of our nations. So indeed, Nelson Mandela sacrificed 67 years of his life to give to humanity. We need to silence the guns. We need peace on our continent. We need peace in the world. And I'm also saying it as a mother, you know, as a woman who is part of the broader, you know, women folk on the African continent. We are tired of war. We want peace. We want to see progress. We want to see unity. We want to see prosperity of our people. We want to see our young people doing great things on the continent. You know, that is what we are celebrating. The spirit of Madiba must live within us, not just our generation, your generation as young people.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Resident Coordinator, Susan Ngongi Namondo, emphasizes the importance of inculcating African unity ideas in children from a young age as a way to honor Mandela's legacy and prevent future conflicts, while the chairperson of the South African Tanzania Business Forum, Manish Takrar, urges the business community to come together in support of children in need.
Wish that the way that this day would be spent is by doing something, actions of service, supporting children in a way that improves their foundation to be better adults tomorrow. It's highly to self-reliance. I mean, we have many of these wars there are many reasons for these wars, but I believe part of the reasons also is that we fail to truly transcend some challenges and manage ourselves and our emotions, and violence erupts. I think in this service, if we're able to help people have better foundations, my belief, because to get to adulthood, we all pass through childhood.
Business community today, we have gone through their wish list and have tried to collect and contribute items that they have requested for, such as mattresses, bed sheets, water tanks, water pumps, foods, footballs, play games, etc., just to name a few. And we are still contributing and collecting till the end of the month, and try to make the orphanage center strong and the children happy.
Tanzania Development Vision 2050 outlines key priorities to move the nation to $1 trillion economy and ensuring economic progress that translates directly into better quality of life for all citizens. Speaking to TBC News, economic analyst Professor Abel Kinyondo says the goal of the vision is not merely to ensure economic growth, but also to increase the income of every Tanzanian and ensure access to quality services.
Our planning commission and the government in general should see to it that they go and address that situation. How are we going to include our people and resources to the growing economy? Because the way it goes, we're leaving a lot of our people behind, and inequalities have got a lot of negative effects to any economy. That's where you have crimes, you have people complaining, you have instability in the countries, and therefore your interest of the country is not just growing, but growing while including people from all walks of the world.
He further elaborates how the Vision 2050 can be achieved in a broader context and even surpass the target set.
When we have strategic resources like SGR, Mwalimu Nyerere Dam, what we need to start thinking is not only employing local companies, but we have to think of employing local resources. So when we are building, for instance, SGR, we have to ask ourselves, where is the iron coming from? Is it from China? Is it coming from our country in the southern parts? When you are talking about building a dam, where is the cement coming from? Is it from Pakistan or Dangote in Mtwara? When we employ both our human resources and natural resources in building our economy, then we will get to the levels, in my opinion, higher than even $1 trillion economy by 2050.
The challenges around that. One of those challenges that the private-public partnership didn't work very well. Currently, as a lesson of what has happened, the country has envisioned to ensure that there are strong relationship between public and private partnership in getting to the vision. And if you listened well yesterday, even the government felt that it was too ambitious to be at the level it is envisaged in 2050. But of course, the private sector proved that this is possible, provided that we get support from the government. So the role of the government is to ensure that they provide the business environment for the private sector to thrive, and the private sector now to ensure that it is efficient, it follows all the labor regulations in a way that private partnership works well, and we can get there.
9 transformative sectors that have been identified under the National Vision 2050 include agriculture, tourism, industry, construction, mining and blue economy, sports, innovation, financial services, and the service sector. In other news, procurement and supply chain stakeholders say the two sectors are vital to national development as they impact economic growth, service delivery, and overall quality of life. They made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the launch of Women in Procurement and Supply Chain Association, aiming to promote equal opportunities for women and men throughout the procurement cycle, insisting efficient procurement practices ensure that public funds are used effectively, while robust supply chains guarantee the timely delivery of essential goods and services.
So when we have procurement and supply chain professionals who are aware of their contribution to the national development, then our procurement is more standardized and also it is more effective. And in so doing, we are able to save a lot of money. For example, look at SGR. It required a lot of procurement from outside Tanzania. Look at Mwalimu Nyerere Dam. A lot of procurement and supply chain was involved. So when you are able to procure effectively, you are able to save the national resources, and you are able to create impact in Tanzania, where the projects are done on time, because if there is a delay in procurement, the project is not done in time.
Procurement takes about 70% of organizational budgets. So if we're referring to the country's budget, about 49, 50 plus trillion, that means that 70% of that spend goes into procurement. So therefore, it is very relevant to have conversations around procurement, especially gender-based procurement, where we have men and women fully participating.
Furthermore, the stakeholders called on women to maximize the conducive investment opportunities that have been created by the government, which have been given new impetus with the just launched Tanzania's Development Vision 2050.
Be more visible, to make themselves more visible. Let us not sit in the corner and wait for these opportunities to come. Take yourself out there, meet the right decision makers to give you these opportunities.
Our government has put in place policies and procedures that are bringing women into the procurement and supply. And these policy procedures, you can even talk about the Petro Act, where you have the local content, the Ministry of Finance. They have very good policy to take care of special groups like women, youth, disabled, to participate in the procurement.
The conversation around supporting women in business should start with the corporate engagement, setting up preferential treatment, setting up a gender-based space where men, women, and especially women participate.
Tanzania's National Vision 2050 aimed to move the nation to $1 trillion upper middle income country by 2050, with emphasis being given to women, youth, and people with disabilities. Still remaining in the economic sector, the Minister of Industry, Dr. Selemani Jafo, has directed Tanzania Fair Competition Tribunal, FCT, to work as a fair and professional appellate body to achieve efficient market and consumer welfare for shared prosperity. He issued the directive while launching the council, insisting the National Development Vision 2050 seeks to build a modern and competitive economy, urging appeals to be dealt with urgently to ensure prompt resumption of businesses to stimulate the economy.
Dira ya jana ambayo imezinduliwa na Mheshimiwa Rais ina matarajio makubwa sana katika kutengeneza uchumi wa taifa letu.
The National Development Goal 2050 vision that was launched by Honorable President Samia Suluhu Hassan has a great expectations in building the economy of our nation. Reforwarding issues should be decided very quickly to ensure that people's businesses continue to move forward. Let's not be an obstacle and ensure that businesses move forward.
On the other hand, the chairperson of the Tanzania Fair Competition Tribunal, Judge Rose Ali Ibrahim, says the country's economy is growing rapidly, creating more challenges in the market, while the registrar of the tribunal, Wema Kaskasi, says currently the tribunal has a total of 32 appeals related to competition and regulatory matters, of which 18 are being heard.
Tumejipanga na tunakuhakikishia kwa mashauri yote yanayofika mbele ya baraza yanashughulikiwa kwa haki.
Ensures that all matters that come before the commission are dealt with fairly and on time without bias or influence of any kind.
Mashauri mengi yanahusiana na masuala ya nishati.
We receive matters related to energy, water and electricity, but the most common ones, especially regarding counterfeit products.
The Tanzania Fair Competition Tribunal consists of 6 members with the main legal responsibility to receive, hear, and make decisions on appeals related to anti-competitive practices and consumer protection and market regulation from the Fair Competition Commission, FCC. Let's have a look at other stories now. The Director of Non-Communicable Diseases from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Omari Obuguyu, says 90% of epilepsy medications are available in all hospitals in the country, together with rehabilitation centers for the people with disabilities. He made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the presentation of the final recommendations about epilepsy and malnutrition in Tanzania after the completion of the 2-year SHINE project. Here's a report by Ismail Bugda, read to you by Kanki Mwagumule. We will come back to that story. Now let's have a look at other stories here. The Director of Planning, Research and Market Development from Tanzania Insurance Regulatory Authority, TIRA, Samuel Mwiru, says his authority plans to generate 5% of the country's GDP from the current 2%, while also creating an enabling environment for every Tanzanian to be insured across various sectors. Mwiru made the remarks during the Tanzania Insurance Innovation Challenge organized by UNDP held in Dar es Salaam, insisting on the role insurance sector plays in protecting individuals, businesses, and the government from financial hardships.
This kind of initiative is very, very important to our economy and even to our insurance subsector and in the financial sector at large, because we are now bringing on board people with innovations that can help our society. And this initiative between UNDP, TIRA, and other industry stakeholders is one step in that direction. Therefore, we very much encourage other Tanzanians also to come up with similar solutions.
On the other hand, the National Coordinator Insurance and Risk Finance Facility from UNDP Tanzania, Josephine Douglas, says the aim of the competition is to explore innovative ideas that will help in the growth of the insurance sector, while some of the innovators elaborate on their innovative ideas.
We came up with to solve this is to come up with the inclusive insurance capacity development, and this program is tailor-made for the industry practitioner and the distribution channel, and it's centered in mostly customer centricity, product development, and looking at all the other aspects of insurance, including research, claim management, distribution, and mostly importantly, proper designing of a solution by focusing on data.
We have come up with the innovation of Twende Bima, where we intended to help motorcycle riders and local entrepreneurs to get insurance easily. So far, our system has more than 10,000 motorcycle riders and 5,000 local entrepreneurs.
Our system has come to link the use of clean energy with health insurance. Where any diseases related to breathing, our insurance will help a person get treatment easily.
UNDP's Insurance Innovation Challenge is powering a new generation of insurance products and services tailored to underserved households and businesses in developing economies. Now, let's circle back to that story earlier. The Director of Non-Communicable Diseases from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Omari Obuguyu, says 90% of epilepsy medications are available in all hospitals in the country, together with rehabilitation centers for the people with disabilities. He made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the presentation of the final recommendations about epilepsy and malnutrition in Tanzania after the completion of the 2-year SHINE project. Here's a report by Ismail Bugda, read to you by Kanki Mwagumule.
According to the World Health Organization, approximately 5 million people are diagnosed with epilepsy worldwide, with approximately 50 million people living with epilepsy worldwide, where 80% of them live in countries with low and middle economy. The 2-year SHINE project was providing training to healthcare workers and caregivers so as to improve their knowledge and skills in diagnosis, management, and treatment of epilepsy.
So the recommendation that we wrote about epilepsy, for instance, is that we need more training. Training should be done even for medical doctors, all levels, like from the regional hospital to the dispensary. But we also need training for mualimus, or for teachers, for people, like for all the people that are around, because if a lot of people know more about epilepsy, we hope that even the stigma will reduce and even the quality of life of people with epilepsy will be better.
The government of Italy pledged support to Tanzanian government, insisting that the nation considers Tanzania as the priority country to Italy in Africa when it comes to economic support.
The strategic choice of focusing on people with disabilities, I think, is very, very important and characterizes our intervention here in the health sector. Of course, the health sector and also the training, the vocational training element has been a crucial part of the Italian cooperation presence in Tanzania, and also for the future we plan to continue working in the health sector and in vocational training, also taking advantage and making the best use of the experience that we had in this SHINE project.
Dr. Omari Obuguyu is a director of non-communicable diseases from the Ministry of Health, elaborates further on the government's measures to prevent and combat the epilepsy in Tanzania.
As a country, we are struggling to make sure that the safe motherhood is given #1 priority. At the moment, we have a new team in Dar es Salaam at the moment working with other colleagues, at least to make sure that the safe motherhood and childbearing doesn't cause a burden rate to our children.
Dr. Obuguyu says the SHINE project began in 2023 until 2025, during which more than 1,600 epilepsy patients were treated.
On that note, now let's have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Do not miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Sports news up next. In sports news, Tanzania tennis national team head coach Majaliwa Majuto says 2 players have been suspended from the team because of indiscipline they displayed while undergoing training gearing up for Davis Cup. Coach Majuto adds that the players have already been replaced, hoping that they will perform and make the national team excel in the upcoming competition.
What happened because they demand that they need some payment before training, but we said for now we can't do that until we do start training. But then they have issue about problem. That's why we stop them. We find another player to join the team. Doing very well, doing very good. So expect to go in group 4 because now we're in group 5. So we expect to play better than last year.
Players suspended from the tennis national team are Bolisasi and Ibrahimu Kesi, while the team is expecting to travel to Botswana on Sunday for the Davis Cup tournament. In other sports news, the Director of Administration of the Tanzania Volleyball Federation, Riziki Godwin, believes that the increase in the number of teams participating in the National League this season will enhance the competition and greatly attract more fans to the league. Godwin adds that this season's league will be very competitive as all teams underwent early preparations, urging stakeholders to collaborate with the federation to promote the sport in Tanzania.
First of all, I welcome them to watch our games in Mwembeanga venue, Mwembeanga Stadium. Second thing, I call up upon players and clubs to be prepared well to participate in this tournament. This will be tough and attractive tournament in this year.
The National Volleyball League is expected to start on July 25th this year at the Mwembeanga grounds in Dar es Salaam, with 22 teams having confirmed their participation in the league. That was sports news. And now before we wind up the news bulletin for tonight, let's have a look at the weather forecasts for the next 24 hours.
Hello weather followers, my name is Joyce Makwata from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Allow me to take you through weather update starting from tonight, where we expect a cooler condition to persist over most part of the country, with the lowest minimum temperature of 7 degrees Celsius expected over Njombe region, followed by 8 degrees Celsius expected over Mbeya region. In terms of wind, we expect a wind to flow at speed of 10 kilometers per hour for Lake Victoria as well as Rukwa. Over the northern part of Lake Tanganyika, we expect wind to flow at speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Southern part of Lake Tanganyika together with Lake Nyasa, we expect wind to flow at speed of 30 kilometers per hour. For the entire coastal belt, we expect wind to flow at speed of 40 kilometers per hour, whereby Temwe has issued advisory concerning period of strong winds and large ocean waves expected over these areas. People conducting marine activities are advised to take necessary precautions. Tomorrow, we expect Mara and Kagera to feature partly cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas and sun period, with mainly dry condition over most part of the country. Now let's have the next 4 days weather forecast. Dar es Salaam, we expect it to feature mainly partly cloud condition. And the same scenario also is expected over the Dodoma regions. Weather over Mbeya for the coming 4 days, just mainly partly cloud condition and sun periods. However, over Mwanza, we also expect it to experience partly cloud condition and sun periods. Weather over Kilimanjaro for the coming 4 days, mainly partly cloud condition. Morogoro region expected to feature partly cloud condition and sun periods. While over Arusha, we expect also the same scenario of partly cloud condition and sun periods. Dear viewers from Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Joyce Makwata again. Thanks for watching and have a good time.
And that is all we have for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.
TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.